if you're from the UK especially, you might recall a TV show called EastEnders. And in EastEnders, there was a character called Dot Cotton. Her real name as an actress is June Brown. People ask her, "How have you, reached such a gracious age, and what are your secrets? What are your like tips and health secrets and stuff?" She never mixes carbohydrates and protein. So the number one thing to note here is she doesn't ever mix carbohydrates and protein. Why is that important? Because we know that carbohydrates and protein, when mixed, and actually carbohydrates and fats too, when you mix these, they create what's called advanced glycation end products. And that's abbreviated, ironically, as AGEs. So these AGEs are like molecules that get formed in the body, like misfolded protein. So the protein will bind to the carbohydrate and cause a misfolding of it, meaning that it can't be digested effectively. And so what happens is those AGEs get plugged up in different areas of your body and cause all kinds of issues like joint problems and rapid aging and stuff like that. So that's something to consider. So she never combines the carbohydrates and the proteins. But so you'd always see her in EastEnders, and when she's smoking, you'd think, how can a smoker live that long? Because she's health conscious, right? She takes folate, which is good for combating cancer. And she said she never touches sugar because it's poison. There you go. Sugar is poison. There you have it. Like, that's coming from an actress from EastEnders. I don't think you need like medical journalists to tell you that if Dot Cotton from EastEnders is telling you that. So the other thing is, I think the worry is the dangerous thing. There you go. Stress is the number one killer. Okay, if you worry too much, the stress cancels out all your good efforts in life. She says, I have a cover for my cigarettes so I don't see the health warnings. So she covers, the warnings you get on the cigarettes saying this will cause throat cancer and stuff like that. She says she covers them up so that she doesn't see it, because if she sees it, it stresses her out. It affects her health and her well-being. So this is very interesting how she's so intuitive that she's picked up on the fact that stress alone can cause issues with your health. So she says, I'm convinced that my mother's cancer, which she died from, was caused by anxiety and stress. So this is brilliant because she's looked at what's happened to her parents, which a lot of us do, but we just accept it as normal when they get diabetes, heart conditions, and cancer, and things like that. We just accept that as a normal fact of life because it is now, because it's so normalized, right? Everyone's dying of cancer, diabetes, and stuff like that. And so not only she's noticed that, but she's been proactive throughout her life to then avoid the anxiety and stress. And she says, with regards to smoking, she says, I tried to give up several times. I don't inhale. In the EastEnders, she's smoking, but she's not actually inhaling the smoke. She's doing it as an act. But not just that, but she does do that in real life as well, but she doesn't inhale it. She says, I haven't inhaled since I was 16 when I inhaled deeply and I turned green. So she smokes, but she doesn't actually inhale it. So it's a bit deceiving. I do worry about my throat, she says, but I did say to my doctor once that I was thinking of giving up, and he said, don't, you'll kill yourself. How does that work? Right? Because when you stop smoking suddenly, it creates massive stress on the body, massive stress. Stopping the smoking suddenly can be just as bad as actually continuously smoking or whatever. So the takeaway here is don't smoke, don't mix carbs with proteins or fats, avoid sugar because it's poison, avoid stress, and don't quit smoking too suddenly. And she went through a lot of stress as well. So she met a future husband after World War II. When World War II happened, she lost her childhood friends, some of her close relatives, and her village friends. And at that time, she was 12 years old. June Brown, interesting case study to look at for health, longevity, glycation, aging, rapid aging. See you in the next video.